friends, how are y'all doing? Welcome to my channel, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. My name is Olivia. Today is Friday, November 17th, and I am back with my usual update. It's been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you've all been doing well and enjoying your November. Today's video is going to be about the cross-stitching that I have done over the past 2 weeks, as well as a little bit of quilting towards the end. So if that sounds like something you're interested in seeing or hearing, I hope you will consider sticking around. And if you are one of my returning subscribers, welcome back. Before I get into today's video, I do want to say thank you to all of those who sent me birthday wishes this past Sunday. It was so sweet of so many of you guys to remember me, and I loved reading through all of the messages and comments and emails and text messages. It was just so sweet of so many of you guys to think of me and to wish me a happy birthday. I'm hoping that this next year will be a good one. For those of you who are curious at how old that I turned 46 on Sunday. I don't feel like I'm 46. I still feel like I'm in my 20s until I stand up or do anything, and then I realize that I'm not as young as I used to be. But it was a great birthday. Again, I'm hoping that it will be a good year. This time of the year is really, really busy for me. So I celebrated my birthday, and then 10 days after my birthday is my wedding anniversary, and my husband and I will be celebrating 25 years. We did decide finally to go and do something to celebrate the 25 years. Usually we just float it, and then we never do anything. And it's hard because this time of the year, you've got Christmas sitting on the horizon, and it's just such an expensive time of the year. So we don't usually do anything for our anniversary, but this year we will. So I'm really looking forward to that. At the beginning of my last video, I had put a picture of my trench bowl. I usually will put like a handful of pictures at the beginning of every single video. It's usually outside, but because everything is kind of dying off now, all the flowers are gone, there's not really a whole lot of photos to be taken out there. So I've been turning to taking pictures around the house of just how I have different things displayed. And a lot of you guys were very curious about what was in the trench bowl. So I thought I would show it today, since the next time we meet, I will have all of my Christmas out. So this little pillow that's up front is from a free chart by Twin Peak Primitives. It was a Thanksgiving sampler, and I only stitched the 2 turkeys and I think, yes, Thanksgiving. So this was just a little part of a larger sampler. This pillow right here is by Homespun Prims by Lori. I think it's called Pumpkin Hollow, but I'm not sure. I will put a link to Lori's shop down below. It was a lot of fun. I did personalize it here with my name, Pumpkin Hollow. And I also, up here, I personalized it with our last name and the year that Brian and I got married. The little small that's up front is called Pumpkins and Bittersweet by the Scarlet House. And I think I stitched it last year maybe, or the year before. I can't remember. The years just kind of blend in with each other. And then this was a little small by Country Rustic Primitives, I think, called Give Thanks. I stitched it back in 2020. If that is incorrect, I will scroll who the actual designer is, but that is just the name that is screaming in my head. Another fun one that I stitched up, I loved it. It only took me a short amount of time to stitch, and I really love it. So those are the smalls in the trench bowl. I also had a lot of questions about this finish behind me. It is called Gray House by Threadwork Primitives. A number of you guys originally thought that the 1799, which is stitched on it, it says established 1799, was my wedding date. And if so, I look pretty darn good for being married in 1799. I just decided to keep it like it was charted. I loved it. it was just such a fun piece. And if I think about it, I will put a link to Threadwork Primitives Etsy website because that is where I purchased it from. But it was a super quick, fun stitch. I loved it. The frame is one that I cut down from a larger frame. I painted it black, distressed it a little bit, and it kind of moves around the house throughout the year. It's not really an autumn piece, but I don't know, I liked it sitting up there. I didn't have one to put up there, so I decided to throw it up there, and I liked it. I felt like it went really well with all the colors of the display. But usually year round, it's hung up across the room. I love it. So thank you to everyone for all of your kind comments on those items. I thought about showing them all in my last video, and I thought, nah, everybody's already seen them, but thank you. After my last video, I picked up and started working on Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain by Kathy Barrick. I was very excited to start this piece, and then I started working on the border, which is not a big deal. However, I almost threw it all in the garbage. I have never been so irritated by a border in my entire life. So the assignment was this section here, and when I started working on it, Carol Saltback Stitcher had shared her method for stitching the border, and very doable, just not for me apparently. So I started working on this one, and how she explained it was you go down, so you've got all these circles, and you basically go down one side of the circle and then you come back up the other side of the circle. That way it's kind of like in a groove. So I did that, and I stitched all the way down to down here, and I started coming up the other side, and immediately it wasn't lining up. And for whatever reason, there was one stitch in multiple places that I kept missing. So I had to rip it all the way back out. So basically a whole entire night of stitching wasted. So the next night I picked it back up again, started it, went down the one side, came back up the other one, and immediately there was another mistake. And not just in one spot, it was like in 3 or 4 spots. It was the same mistake, same stitch being missed. Absolutely frustrating. So I spent the rest of the evening unpicking it again, very irritated, very frustrated. The next night, picked it up again, started stitching, same dumb mistake in different places again. I have never been so angry at a piece before than I was at this one. So the next night, I abandoned the way she had told us to do it, and I just did it my way, and I didn't have one mistake at all. I was able to complete the entire border so that way the following night I could start working on all of this. I have such mixed feelings about this piece right now. I think that with the next assignment, if I run into the same issues where I'm spending night after night after night unpicking and repicking and restitching and redoing all the things, I probably will not continue with this piece. So we'll see how it goes. The rest of all of this went very well. Just the border did not. And one thing I left off was in between all of these little circles, there's a little bit of orange that you stitch, and I don't know that I want to have it orange. I think I might want to try to pull another color that maybe isn't as, because there's a lot of orange. So I want to see if maybe there's another color that I can put in there that will kind of help it stand out a little bit. I know we've all probably had a project that we've worked on that we've had issues with. So I'm hoping that with the next assignment, whatever bad luck plagued me will be gone. So I'm stitching Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain on a piece of Crypt cloth, 40 count, by Lapin Loops, and I am using Vicky Clayton silks. and I'm stitching at 1/2. The other thing I noticed about this linen, because it's the first time I've ever stitched anything on it, is that the weave is very tight. So it's probably a little bit tighter than a 40 count, which is fine. The stitches look really cute and delicate, which is what I like. So we'll see. We'll see in December when I get the next assignment and I work on it. We'll see how I feel. I don't want to abandon it for the second time because I did go to a bit of an expense, and I always hate when I have to break up with a project. So I'm hoping that the next round will go much better. Next project I worked on was Jack's Bash by Plum Street Samplers. I'm stitching this with Katie So Tattered, and a lot of you guys have joined along. I was supposed to work on this one on the 13th of the month. However, I didn't work on it until the 14th, and then I threw in another night, and so I worked on it on the 14th and the 15th of this month. Mostly it's just because I don't feel like I got a tremendous amount done on the 14th, so I gave it an extra night. I'm hoping that at some point I can sit down and really focus on this one and get a little bit farther, because I absolutely love working on it. I love the colors. I love everything about it. And I also realized that I have not posted any progress pics of this. The only time I ever show it is in my video. So I definitely need to remedy that. I've been really bad about posting. I just kind of get busy working on stuff and I just forget to post progress on my projects. So this is how far I got on the 2 days I worked on it. The reason why I didn't work on it on the 13th is because I was finishing up my Elizabeth Furniss assignment and I was really close to being done with her. So, or just being done with the assignment. So I just delayed this a day. I'm very excited to pick up Jack again on, I think there's a 31st this month, if not the 30th. So I'm stitching Jack's Bash on a piece of 36 count grandma slip by XJUDesigns, and I am using the called for threads, and I'm stitching out 1 strand of thread over 2 linen threads. And I love it, love it, love it. The only thing I need to do is get another piece or another skein of Raven, because I'm just about out of it. So I think that I must have borrowed the skein of thread from another project. But I love it, love it. So I was able to get my lady finished. The only thing she's missing is she's supposed to hold an acorn, I think. And then hopefully the next time I work on this, I will get the house finished. It's so pretty. It's so hard to put that one away. I love working on it, and I love seeing everyone's progress. So thank you so much for tagging me in your photos so that way I can follow along with your progress. It's just so fun, so cool. I love it. So looking forward to getting back to this one at the end of the month. I decided this year I was going to do a birthday start, and it's the first time I've had a birthday start since Anne Priest, so I was way overdue. And that new start was Stewart Hardman by Needlework Press. And I've loved this one for a really, really long time. It kind of looks a little bit like Anne Rayner. And maybe that's why I love this one so much, is because it reminds me of Anne Rayner, which is very out of print and very hard to find. So I'm glad that I have a substitute for her, but I absolutely love this piece. I love seeing it when it pops up on social media. I've wanted to stitch it for years, and the time finally arrived. So I started this on Sunday, November 12th, which was my birthday. And this is how far I got. So I am the one doing assigning the assignments. My friend Yvette is stitching it with me, and also Celeste Creates is stitching it too. But Celeste started hers on her birthday, and so she is quite a bit farther ahead, but I absolutely love watching her progress on it. So really excited to start working on this one. The assignment that I assigned was just to stitch the border on page 1. So tonight I will be returning to Sarah to finish up the border. I was told that the border was a little bit fiddly, and because I had had so many problems with Lazy Bear Mountain, I was sort of warned ahead of time. However, I had no problems. I absolutely enjoyed working on the border on this piece, and I was super sad to have to quit that night. So this is 2 hours of progress. I feel like I did quite a bit of progress. Just really, really enjoyed working on this so much. So I am stitching Sarah on a piece of 36 count Vintage Buttercream by Lakeside Linens, and I am using the called for Classic Colorworks that's listed on the chart, and I'm stitching it 1/2. Love it. I'm gonna have such a hard time putting this one away when I am done, because there's a big part of me that wants to just go for it and finish page 1, which is this right here. Very hard to put away. So getting back to, or I will be getting back to this one tonight and hopefully finishing the border. So excited to finally have a start on Sarah. My last assignment was Elizabeth Furniss, 1836 by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. The assignment we were given was to work on the tree that is on the left side of the house and then 2 border flowers. So I was able to complete that on the 13th of November. And here is my progress. So I absolutely love working on this piece, and I am starting to get very itchy to have it finished. I already have the frame for her. I already know where she's gonna hang. I kind of know how I want to distress her frame just so it kind of ties in with the rest of the house. I love her so much. And I'm stitching Elizabeth Furniss on a piece of 40 count Bee's Knees by Seraphim Fabrics, and I'm stitching it with the DMC that is listed on the chart, and I'm stitching it 1/2. I love it so much. So the personalizing, I decided that I'm going to hold off and wait until the entire sampler is completed. And then I will go in and stitch my paternal great-grandparents' names. I also had to double and triple check to make sure that I have their wedding date correct, because there was a couple of, I'm not sure if it was censuses or what it was, but it had the wrong date. And it had them being married several years before they actually were. I want to say they were married in 1914. So the plan is to stitch their names on either side of the cartouche in the middle, and then stitch their wedding year inside of the cartouche. But I can't wait. I just need to find an alphabet that I really like. And so once I do that, then I will start charting it out. And I chart it by hand. I have a gridded, it's a 40 count blank page grid. And I usually will go, that's what I use. So I will go in and I will personalize their name. I just need to find an alphabet that I really like. So once I do that, once I get the house done, once I get everything else stitched, then I will go and do all the personalizing. But I'm really excited. I already have the frame, the wall space, everything all ready to go. So I'm really excited to have this one finished sometime, I think late winter of the new year. So really, really looking forward to having this one done at some point. I did make a couple purchases over the past 2 weeks. I've been trying to build up my 40 count linen stash, and Christine at Hollis Hands Creates showed us a new linen that she helped design. It's called Cookie Dough, and it is 40 count, and it is by Needle Bling Designs, and it is scrumptious. Such a gorgeous piece of linen. I cannot wait to find the perfect project to work on it. But how cool is that to be a collaborator with a linen dyer and to design a piece of linen? I cannot imagine how cool that would be. And Christine had also got in a piece of Brenda's Brew by R&R, and it's quite a bit darker than some Brenda's Brew that I've already purchased. It was a little bit lighter. I forget what project it was for, but it was way lighter than this. This is definitely very dark and dirty, which I love. It's also a 40 count, so gorgeous. So I cannot wait to find a project to stitch on this one. So that is the only little bit of purchasing that I did. I don't know that I will be purchasing any more linen until after the new year because Christmas is coming. But I definitely know there's a couple pieces of Seraphim fabric linens that I would like to have in my stash because I do like stitching on Seraphim fabrics. But I definitely will sort of curb my purchasing until after the holidays. I did receive a package from the Fat Quarter Shop, and all of these items are available now on the Fat Quarter Shop's website, and I will put a link to that website down below. The first item they sent me is a cross-stitch chart by Lori Holt, BMI Bonnet. It's part of the Chicken Club, and it's called Penny. Very cute. Next is Fall Harvest cross stitch. It was it was part of their Stitch Quarterly, which comes out 4 times a year, and this was the Autumn Stitch Quarterly chart. Next is a quilt pattern by It's So Emma called Alpine Balloons. Very pretty. October Stackables by It's So Emma. And a new quilt book called Celebrate with Quilts. It's designed by Lisa Alexander and Susan Aki. And there's a lot of wonderful quilts in this book. I flipped through it a couple of different times. Lots of fun ones to be made. So once again, I will put a link to the Fat Quarter Shop's website if you're interested in any of those items. And thank you so very much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending those items my way. I did receive a gift in the mail from Delilah, and she sent me a wonderful card, but she crocheted me this little mug. And what you do is you put your ice drinks from like Dutch Brothers, Starbucks, you put it in here, and then you can hold it. And of course, with ice drinks, you've got all that condensation. So it holds the condensation, and then you can just walk around holding your ice drink like a coffee mug, which is so cute. I just absolutely love this. And I can't wait to go and get a ice drink from Dutch Brothers so I can try it out. So thank you so very much, Delilah. It was so very sweet of you, and I loved your note, and thank you again so much. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a giveaway in today's video, and what it is a mystery package. So inside this envelope is a variety of designers with the theme Christmas or winter. So it's pretty packed. And most likely between now and when I announce a winner, I will probably add more stuff to it. I'm not going to tell you who the designers are. I'm not going to tell you what charts are in here. It's all a bit of fun. You can keep all the charts for yourself. You can give them away to friends. But that is the only giveaway in today's video. I thought I would keep it really easy with the busy holiday season so that way all I have to do is mail out one package. So if you are interested in the Christmas mystery cross-stitch package, what you will need to do is be a subscriber, like today's video, and answer the question down below. And that is, what is your favorite Christmas movie? So my favorite Christmas movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I watch it every year. I find it absolutely hilarious. When I was a kid, I just found it hilarious just cause, but then as an adult, I completely understood so much more of that movie, and it definitely made it a lot more hilarious. We usually will put it on while we are decorating the Christmas tree, or at some point, I usually end up watching it many times, but usually we'll start watching it when the Christmas tree goes up, which is the day after Thanksgiving. So all of the Thanksgiving stuff behind me will be put away in my next video, and Christmas will be out. But that is my favorite Christmas movie. So let me know down below what yours is. And in my next video, I will pick a winner. And thank you so very much for playing along. Well, my friends, as far as all the cross stitching goes, that is all I have to show and share in today's video. I am going to start talking about quilts next. So if that's not something you're interested in seeing, this is a great stopping off point, and I will be back in a couple of weeks. Thank you so very much for stopping by today. All right, so let's talk about quilts. So I finally finished a quilt and I was very happy that I did because it's been since, I think I started this quilt either the beginning of September or I started at the end of August. But it sat for a really long time in pieces and I did not realize how heavily I rely on my weekends to do my own personal quilting. So I definitely was very happy to have a weekend back so that I could work on. Comes out of the Snuggle Up book and it's called Boardwalk. And this one was designed by Betsy Chutchain, who is one of my favorite designers. So I made my Boardwalk quilt with Katie of So Tattered. She finished hers quite a while ago, and so I was wildly envious because I wanted mine done too. So I'm glad to finally have it complete, except I just need to throw it on the long arm and long arm quilt it. I did it all out of Cheddar and Coal by Pam Buddha, and here it is. So this is what it looks like. It's not a very big quilt. So it'll just be a nice little lap quilt or even a wall hanging. I absolutely love it. It was so much fun to put together. And I'm hoping maybe sometime this next week I will be able to go out and quilt it because there's like a couple of, I have a whole stack of my own quilts that I need to get quilted. So I think this one is definitely at the top. It's a quilt that I will leave out all year. I know it's got a lot of my favorite Halloween colors in it, but it's one of those ones that I will most likely leave out year round. I also did purchase backing for it, and I like to get my backing from Thousands of Bolts online. The fabric on there is about half price of what you would normally pay online or at a quilt store, but it's older fabric. And what I picked out is this one. So this was by Kim Deal, and it was from her Right as Rain fabric line, which came out a couple of years ago. So I think it will be perfect as the backing. So definitely hoping that I will be able to get that one completed. I know that I definitely need to focus on getting a stack of my own quilts quilted because the other day when I went to go add this to the pile, it actually hit the bottom of my quilt machine table. So it's time. And I'm anxious to have those quilts out because I'll walk into a room and I think, oh, I need to go grab this one quilt and I think it would look good in my quilt stack, and then I realize that it hasn't been quilted yet. So definitely need to make a big effort to go out there and quilt my own stuff. Well, my friends, as far as all the quilting goes, that's all I have to show and share in today's video. Quilt going forward, I have two potential quilts that I would like to do. Both of them are Christmas, and I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. I also did see the day before yesterday that Kim Deal, one of her books, Double Dip Quilt Book, one of those. C&T Publishing is re-releasing it, and she is going to do a quilt along, and it definitely looks very Christmassy. So my friend Reetha and I are going to participate, and I'm looking forward to that. So I definitely know I'm going to be working on that one. I think it starts the 28th of November, and usually when Kim Deal does those little quilt alongs, the quilts aren't very big. They're usually like tabletop size. So I'm excited to see what it is and work on it. I know you have to have the book to participate, but she changes something in it. So you still have to have the book, but it's sort of like its own design. So looking forward to starting that one. But I do know that there's these other two quilts that I kind of want to make. One I'll pull from stash, and one I have the fabric sort of set aside. So we'll see. I don't think I'll start it this weekend. I think if anything, it'll be started next weekend. But I try every year to make a new Christmas quilt. So I definitely want to work on that one. But the quilt hanging up behind me, I think, I don't have my notes with me, but I think it's called Pumpkin Patch by Rhonda McCrae. It came from Primitive Quilts and Projects magazine. I will put all of the correct information down below in the description box if you're at all curious. But this is the last video where you will see it hanging. It won't come back again until next year. So when next we meet, it will be Christmas and everything behind me will be Christmas. But it was such a great quilt to put together. Thank you so much for all of your very kind comments about it. Really fun, really easy quilt to do. And I know a couple people have dropped their quilts off and picked up recently, and I know that they've went and picked up this pattern too, because it is available online. You can get it as a PDF download. So if I think about it, I'll put a link to the website and the direct link of the pattern down below in the description box, as well as everything that I have shared in today's video will be listed down below. So if I've messed up anything, all of the correct information will be down below. The plan for me will be to be back in 2 weeks, so I hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. We're gonna have a small Thanksgiving. My grandma's gonna come over and it'll just be us, but that will be a lot of fun and I'm looking forward to it. I love turkey, so I'm looking forward to having some turkey. But I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you so very much for stopping by today. If you would like to see what I am up to in between my videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, and I do have a Facebook page called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put a link to those down below. Thank you so very much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time. Bye.